cash is a risky asset. I think so many people think if I go to cash, I'm going to be safe because it's much less volatile. But please realize in this environment of producing a lot more cash, the real returns go down. It's a seductive asset because, let's say, relative to inflation, you might get taxed 7% a year. That's a huge amount of money over time, but it's a subtle tax. So first, watch that. Then this is a study that I've been doing, and then I decided to share it with people because I think it's so important. A number of years ago, first with 2008, we got into a monetary situation, of course, where we're printing money, creating a lot of debt and monetizing it. And that led me to realize that there are three big things that are going on in the world that are dominant. And then COVID came along. Those three forces are, first, the long-term debt and monetary cycle, which I mean creating a lot of debt, monetizing it, and the implications of that, which reverberate through the system in terms of all the markets and everything. The second is this conflict, this polarization, this wealth gap, and how we're at each other's throats. And I looked at the wealth gap, and I looked at a lot of measures of conflict going back in time, and I found that they were in the 1930 to 45 period. The printing of money, as I described, and debt monetization was also in the 1930 to 45 period. And the third big influence is the rise of China, so the rise of a great power, challenging an existing great power, the United States. And that has enormous implications. As an investor, I think, what are the relative appeals of the markets? It has a lot of implications. It's not just a trade war. So the markets and everything were reverberating the trade war, the technology war, the geopolitical war in Taiwan and the South China Seas, and then also the capital war. We're seeing that emerge. So those three factors required me to then go back in history. I wanted to study the rises and declines of reserve currency empires. So I needed to go back far enough that I would have a few. So I had to go back 500 years so I could see the rise and decline of the Dutch Empire and its reserve currency, the rise and decline of the British Empire and its reserve currency, the rise and beginning of decline for the United States and its reserve currency, and China. It is really concerning. It's even more concerning when I went back to find the 500 years and the times that repeated over and over again. And what I found was there's a cycle. There's a big cycle. You know, you start a new world order. In 1945, we began a world order after the war. They decided how the world would be divided. They created the dollar as the world's reserve currency and so on.